welcome. It's for you guys that are on Facebook Live, with Denny Grimes, Master of Real Estate. I've got Sonny with us as our co-host, and John is typically with us. He might pop on. He had a $5 million listing appointment, and I said, well, I'll be on the call or be on the $5 million listing appointment. That's a tough call. So anyway, he may or may not be with us today. So I want to start off by saying, how are you guys doing? It's January, mid-January at that. And I trust basically you are pretty bullish about the market moving forward. I've been watching some YouTube. I'm going to share something with you. And I know this is kind of near and dear to my heart. As you guys know, we're talking about mastery level role play today, following the example in all of our role plays we're going to do. I've got some new ones. Question-based, listing enhanced conversations. And if you haven't already, make sure you go and subscribe to the Mastery YouTube channel, Denny Grimes Master of Real Estate. We're approaching 400. We're going to grow that. So go ahead and hit that subscribe and that like. And we do our best to give you some good content you can look at during the week. I always want to start with a thought of the day. So my new hobby is YouTube. And I'm watching all kinds of different things on YouTube, real estate wise, even hobby stuff. I'm watching hunters, and I'm not a big hunter. However, they're taking down coyotes using night vision. And it's kind of an interesting thing. I'm watching cooking channels. Anyway, I've been watching now several different real estate people giving their predictions on what's going to happen in 2022. I watched two videos today, and one of them, and I'm going to give you the thought of the day. They made 8 predictions about 2022. And here's the one nearest and dearest to my heart. They are predicting that Florida will be the #1 housing market in the nation in 2022. And that's because of the influx of people. We have a lot of new construction being built around the state. We have a lot of land here, so there's a lot of new construction. So that's given us some inventory relief, which is awesome. And they're saying other places around the country will have some growth. They're predicting probably, and they were right on here, we had a 30% growth in year-over-year prices. They're predicting a 10% jump in 2022. Now, beyond 2022, they're not quite so rosy on Florida because of the aging population. I guess they're talking about me. Some other markets around the country are not going to be doing quite as well. They mentioned specifically, and again, take it for what it's worth. This is just an opinion. Austin, been very, very hot. It's going to slow down. Boise is going to slow down a little bit. Salt Lake is going to slow down. And Denver is going to slow down. So take that for what it's worth. I just thought it was kind of interesting that they're predicting Florida to be probably leading the pack. And I have a tendency to believe it has a lot to do with Tom Brady. If you believe in that, you can put that in the chat if you're a big Brady fan. And I think we'll give Brady credit for everything. And so I had some other things I wanted to share with you guys. I've got some new objections. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of these and have some conversations that are very timely, things that will be going on. And there's really nothing new under the sun. So if you want to role play, go ahead and raise your hand so I can see you. And I don't want to call on anyone if they don't want to do the role play. And Sunny will set the timer. I mean, she's has nothing else to do other than eat her pancakes there and bread. And so I maybe set the timer for about 3.5 minutes. I see that. You can't do that on the air. So we're going to be doing a role play. And let me tell you what we're going to be doing. We're always going to follow the model. We'll state the model up front. The model is acknowledge, isolate, answer, and then close. So that is the model. I'll leave that up there. And I've got this one here, which I thought was kind of a cool one. Here's a prospect that says, I'm not sure I want to do anything until this crisis passes. I love this. I love this because it could mean a lot of different things. Does anyone have their hand up and like to go through as a potential agent on this role play and follow the model? Is Bryant with us today? I haven't checked the attendance. Is Brian here?
I don't see him.
All right. So, but anyone here to join us on a 4-minute role play on this? And it basically says, I'm not sure I want to do anything until this crisis passes. That's definitely an objection you might be able to get nowadays. So raise your hand. Who's ready to go? Carol, are you ready to go? I don't see your hand up.
Are you going to be the agent?
Well, I'm looking for, I can be, I'm looking for someone who wants to be the agent so they could practice and improve.
Oh, well, I'm in the car. I can't read all your stuff, but I'll listen.
Heidi's hands up.
There you go, Heidi.
All right. All right. So, well, wait a minute. Who's Heidi?
Yep, right here.
Where are you? All right. So your hand's up, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to be the agent then. And I'll go ahead and I'll just be I'll kind of be the prospect. Okay, Heidi, you know what? I'm not sure I want to do anything until this crisis passes. And so now to begin, for everyone, go ahead and recite the model, and then we'll go into the role play. The model is?
Acknowledge, isolate, address it, and close.
There you go. All right, here we go. 4 minutes, Sonny.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying, that you're concerned because we're in crisis mode with all these different variants. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy out there, I think. You know, I mean, everyone I know is like sick and they're calling off work. It just seems to be kind of a mess right now.
Well, what concerns you the most about selling your house during this time period?
Well, I'll restate it. I'm not sure I want to do anything until the crisis passes.
And okay, I hear you. You want to wait until the crisis passes. Are you concerned about how long that might be?
Well, yeah, aren't you?
I am, but we are doing business safely during this time period, and we're selling a lot of homes. The mortgage rates are terrific. That's why I'm trying to understand, what specifically are you concerned about people coming? What specifically about this time period for selling your home concerns you? I know you want to wait till it passes, but what scares you the most about it or concerns you the most?
Well, it seems like this Omicron is just so contagious, and every time I turn around, somebody's getting sick, and whatever. I'm just thinking it's probably not a good time. I mean, if people aren't shopping because they're sick, then it's probably not a good time, right?
I think people are still shopping. I hear you that you're very concerned. We have been doing things very, very safely with masks.
Wait a minute. Let's make sure now. In ours, we're going to be using the question-based. So now you're making a statement.
Yes, gotcha.
So how can you stay in questions? And so you've done a good job. You've done a good job of attempting for me to articulate what I'm feeling. Now, I'm kind of curious. Just, do you really understand what I'm feeling yet? Because I gave you a very general statement.
Yes, you did, and I'm trying to zero in on the statement. So
all right, so I'm going to coach you a little bit. This won't come off your time. And you guys, here's the thing I want you to think in terms of. Everyone has done jigsaw puzzles before. And so what you do is you have a picture on the box, and you attempt to find the matches of the picture on the box. When you're having a conversation, I want you to think of in terms of a jigsaw puzzle. The only challenge, one of the challenges is that I have a picture in my mind and you don't.
Right. Right.
So what your level of question should be is, you want to be asking me to describe the picture in my mind so you can understand what it is. And so basically, if there's something you don't know, that's God saying that's a logical question to ask. Hey, is there a barn in this picture, or is that a dog? So, so basically, rather than you attempting to guess, ask. So, all right, so let's just stay on ask me some questions about my statement. I'm not sure I want to do anything until this crisis passes. So I said everyone's getting sick. You asked me what was my concern. What else would you like to know? Now you can start the timer again.
Have you had COVID before?
Yes.
And have you lost any family members to COVID or anything?
No, I have not. No, they keep coming back.
So that sounds positive. I feel like there's something more that's concerning you that you're maybe not expressing to me, and I think it would be helpful because I'd like to be able to tell you why you don't have to wait necessarily, but I don't know exactly what it is that holds you back from moving forward.
Okay, so what? All right, so somebody help her out.
I would say, what does the crisis mean to you, or something like that, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe in a nicer way.
All right, so always start with my words. I'm not sure if I want to do anything until the crisis passes. Now let me ask you, am I a buyer or a seller?
I don't know.
You were assuming what?
That you are a seller.
No one asked.
Yes. Okay. Got it. Like back to basics.
Well, again,
In a sense.
Well, I think it's a kind of a cool metaphor is that pull the picture out of me.
Okay.
The picture is clear in my mind. However, you have no earthly idea what I'm attempting to do. Point number two is, okay, Whit, I think this is what you were saying. Anything until the crisis passes. All right. Well, the crisis, I said COVID. All right. So when will you feel that the crisis has passed?
Okay.
Does anybody know that answer? Do you think if I'm saying I want to wait till the crisis passes, would that be kind of a red flag? You might want to ask me, well, what is it when the crisis passes? Right?
Yeah, that was my thinking. It could be years.
Right.
But
depending
but to your point, depending what your vision of a crisis is.
Okay.
Would it be appropriate to ask then and say, so when this crisis is passed in your mind and go to the future, like, so what would be your future goal? What would you like to accomplish with real estate when this crisis passes, and get past the crisis to why they're either buying or selling? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I like that. So for example, why don't you future pace me? Future pace would be, okay, all right, so let me just stay with that. It's okay, let's just assume now the crisis has passed. What would you like to do? Now, wouldn't that be, that's kind of a cool, now you're future pacing me, you're moving me past that. And then I'm going to say, well, we have our kids are, we've got extra space we don't need. We probably should downsize. We've got this big yard and I'm tired of taking care of it. So now what am I doing now? You've taken me out of my concern about the crisis into the future. And now I'm expressing to you what? My motivation.
Yeah.
So that's a great suggestion right there. So the one way you can do that is move me past that and let me talk in terms of, okay, so we want to downsize. All right, now who would like to take over? Sonny, thanks for just that. We'll just stop that timer. Who would like to take over from that point moving forward? Is there anybody who'd like to take on the agent's role and move me forward a little bit? Now that you're starting to understand my motivation.
But can I just ask, have we really isolated and addressed your concern?
Well,
or will we still get there in 4 minutes in theory?
No, we haven't, you haven't isolated me yet. So the isolation question would be what in this? The isolation question always starts with something like, other than that, is there any other reason why you wouldn't be taking advantage of a great market right now? And I'll say no, just to make it simple, no. I mean, as soon as this crisis passes, I'd love to be able to sell our house and, get something smaller.
And then you say, if I could show you how I could sell your home virtually online, and that I could limit people's contact with the home unless they were qualified buyers, and show you how we could make that happen. Would you like to know, would you be interested in hearing how I could do that for you, as I've done for other sellers?
Well, you could say that. However, have I articulated to you that I'm concerned about people coming in my house?
No, I mean, we'd have to go on more about that, because I would ask, so what is it that's most concerning to you? Is it a health issue, a financial issue, or a timing issue?
I just don't think people want to buy houses right now with people being sick and coughing all over everybody.
I could see how that might cause you some concern. However, if I could show you that that's not exactly the case right now, for the market, your perception of the market is different than mine, of course, because I'm a real estate agent and I see it. So I'd love to share with you how that perception that you have is probably, not exactly what's happening. I'm really wordy. Sorry, I'm not focused, but I would say something to the effect of, well, if I could show you how that's not exactly what's happening, would you be interested to hear about that?
Okay, so I think that's a fair question. Okay, and I would say yes to that.
Okay, so do I have your permission to share some market stats about your neighborhood that I've collected?
Well, then you're going to sound like you're going to tell me a bunch of stuff that I probably don't want to hear.
Okay, well, it would answer that question. I don't know. I have a different market than you guys in Florida, so I have a totally different mindset, because we have a buyer's market. It's really hard to sell things.
It's hard to sell things where you are?
Yeah, New York City. Oh yeah, we're in a total buyer market. It's the lowest prices since 2008. We have hardly any inventory and buyers. And if you want to buy something in New York City, you should come do it now. Yes. Things that are listed now there's sponsor units that are coming onto the market that are selling for $800 less a square foot than they did when they were brand new sponsor units. Cheapest they've ever been, ever in the last 8 years.
So if I'm thinking about downsizing, and let's say I'm in New York, do you think now is a good time to buy?
So in New York, if you'd like to downsize and make a lateral move, if I could show you how you could downsize your apartment and capture the equity that's in your apartment, put yourself into another location that you like better, and you can build equity from that position. That would be a strong wealth building situation. Would that be of interest to you?
Well, maybe. And so I'll put a bow in it here and we'll go on to the next one. I want to keep these inside 15 minutes of the discussion. See, one of the ways you can do it, and I'm just going to go, Pedro, are you there? Can you talk to me, Pedro? Am I saying that right, Pedro?
Yes, sir. That's right.
So Pedro, let's just assume you're the person that has the same concern about the crisis passing. Let me ask you this. What would, this is very similar to what we were just talking about. Would it surprise you that because of the crisis, it may be an excellent time for you to downsize?
I would say it has to do with your mindset, whether you think it's a good market for you or not.
Well, I'm talking to you as a potential prospect. So answer me from a prospect standpoint. So I'm going to be the agent. I'm talking to you. You're the prospect that says, hey, look, I don't know that I want to do anything until this crisis passes. And I'm going to say, oh, I understand. Other than that, is there any other reason why you wouldn't want to take advantage of this market?
Not really. I mean, I've seen people buy and sell homes in my market or in my state, and it's been like a little bit chaotic. You know, inventory is low, as we all know. Everyone is hounding me every day as far as do I want to sell my home. I'm fully vaccinated. I've seen people, you know, go into homes, you know, wearing masks and gloves and booties and all that kind of stuff. I don't mind it. I mean, as long as everyone can show maybe a vaccination card that they've been vaccinated and they're properly protected, I don't mind people coming in my house.
Right. Well, again, remember, you're the one that just told me you don't want to do anything till the crisis passes. So you're going to take that role just for a moment. Okay.
Oh, so just that.
So
Gotcha.
here's the point I want to make. Well, let me ask you, if you feel that way, do you think there's other people that feel the same way you do that really don't want to have people come in through their houses, or, you know, when people have COVID every other day, or you're hearing about this, do you think there's some other people that feel that way?
Absolutely. There's definitely a fear. And the more you go into and read the news and watch the news on TV, it gives you even more. I've had my neighbor down the road who passed away from COVID. I got COVID last year. I'm still alive, thank God. But there is definitely, you know, I feel a little bit fearful about this whole thing. I don't know if it's founded or not, but I feel that it's real. It's definitely real.
So what I'm attempting to do, and I'm going to do this quickly here, is turn his concern into a positive for him. Well, you're right. Other people just like you are going to want to wait because of maybe what you're calling the crisis. Well, let me ask you that. Let me ask you this. If those people wait, do you think then that there are sellers out there that may be a little bit anxious because they want to sell, and a lot of the buyers are waiting? And so do you think maybe you can get a better buy because many buyers aren't stepping into the market because they have the fear of the crisis? Whereas if we kept our eyes open, we can capitalize on that, and we might be able to get a better house, a better buy because of the crisis. Can you see how that can work for you?
I can see that, especially in today's market. I've seen how much over asking a lot of these properties are going, and I'm kind of curious about my property, what it could be worth and what I could get for it.
So my whole example there, rather than sharing a bunch of stats and how we're helping people, I'm going to ask the leading question. Because if they decide to stay out of the market because of the crisis, other buyers are going to stay out of the market because of the crisis. And so therefore there could be some sellers out there that are hungry for a buyer, which means if they would step into the market in spite of the crisis, it might be their advantage. Now, I don't know if I said that to make any sense. However, this is recorded. Go back and listen to it 5 times or listen to it backwards. Sometimes that makes it a lot more sensical to listen to it backwards. So let's go on to number 2. I have another one here. It's kind of interesting. I love this one. I've never heard it said this way. So who would like to handle this as a potential listing agent? And this is my concern as a potential seller. I'm not sure I can afford your services right now. Perhaps we could rearrange your commission. It's kind of like maybe you're rearranging your furniture. Right. So Desi, are you want to do that?
Yes, because I will bend over backwards to give up my commission. It's a horrible weakness that I have.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe we're not going to do your model. We'll see how you stand up and fight for your fee. All right. So
can we see it? Yeah, move over a little bit so they can see it just a little.
There you go. So what I want you to do is go ahead and we'll start with reading the model. The model is what? Acknowledge, isolate, address, and close. So Desi, we've got somebody, we got Mindy also. We got Mindy in the bullpen. So Mindy's going to get ready. And so Desi, there, go back to the objection, follow the model, please. And what would be your acknowledgement? That's my objection. I'm not sure I can afford your services right now. Maybe you can rearrange your commission.
Am I the agent or the client trying to wheedle somebody out of their 1%, 2%?
I'm the needler. You're the client. You're the real estate agent.
Real estate agent. Okay, my spine's already weak. Here I go.
All right.
Okay.
Step one. What's step one? Acknowledge. How do you acknowledge,
Yes,
Desi?
I understand that a 2.5% commission for listing agent is expensive to you, but when you think of $30,000, what do you think? Sorry?
Wait a minute now. Okay, so this is the first time on the call, so I'm just schooling you a little bit on how we do it. We don't make statements, we ask questions, right? So you acknowledge, you said,
Okay.
you said, I understand. Now what you want to do is isolate. What are the words we use to
Okay.
isolate?
So I would take that, the monetary value and turn that into a question. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
No, you want to, so just, Mindy, you ready? All right, so what is the isolation question?
What concerns you the most about my compensation?
Ooh, that's good.
Well, no, that's not. That's drilling
This is
down.
the I'm
The isolation is other than fee.
Other than
Rearranging the commission, is there any other reason why you wouldn't
that
want
would
to?
hire me to?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to say no. No, if you can rearrange the commission, now go.
So I would ask you, who's talking?
Hang on, Desi, hang on. We'll stay with Mindy right now. We'll come back to you.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, so so other than my fee, you're ready to sign the paperwork today. Is that correct?
If we can agree on fee, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. I have, what do you think is reasonable of a fee? And I have a sliding scale based on services. So what do you think is reasonable? And we compare that with the services.
What is your fee?
Well, most people start at 7%. And that covers my transaction coordinator, that covers the buyer agent, that covers me, that covers all of your marketing.
Okay. That's your fee, 7%?
Well, like I said, it's a variable scale depending upon services. So we can go ahead and take a look at this fee structure and see what are your most important services that you want.
Well, the other companies, basically, I've talked to a couple other companies. They said they'd do it for 3.5.
And what is it that they're giving to you for 3.5%?
Well, they're going to get my house. They're going to list my house and get it sold, and the total fee is 3.5%.
And does that cover the buyer agent or just the listing agent?
That covers the buyer's agent too. They said that covers. I think they used the word co-broke.
The co-broke. So, and do they also charge you a transaction fee?
They didn't mention that. No, I guess not.
And did they put that in writing with a guarantee that they'll be able to sell your home for that price at the highest price?
I don't know about a guarantee. We agreed on a price of $750, and they'll charge 3.5%.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: if somebody is willing to give away their money, how willing do you think they are to give away your money when it comes to negotiations?
Well, they weren't happy about the 3.5%. I mean, they wanted more. I was able to negotiate them down to 3.5%. So
that sounds to me like they're not very good at negotiating. Is that right? Would you agree with that?
I think they did a pretty good job of negotiating. I mean, I wanted 3, and they were able to get up to 3.5%.
And so, do you know what the split would be with the co-broke? How much they're actually going to make, and if they're going to provide enough to incentivize the co-broke to actually show your home to buyers?
Now, you guys, if you're taking notes, she's asked some really pretty good questions. I don't remember role playing with her before.
Oh, so first time.
Yeah, so she's doing asking some great questions, which I like. and she's going down the road of negotiation, which I like. So there's a really good superstructure there. I got to give you credit, Mindy. You're doing a really good job. So I'm going to switch. Yael's got her hand up. So are you ready? Do you need to do a couple of burpees or so before you get in there? Whatever. And so let's pick it up from right where we are now.
If I can, you know, I can appreciate that the other agent offered you 3.5%. I do things very, very differently than most agents. So if we could sit down and I can actually show you what I do and how it can benefit you more, you know, so by hiring me, and you'll walk away with more money. Is that something that would sound good for you?
Well, we're sitting down at the table.
Oh, we are sitting down. We're sitting down at the table. We're at a listing appointment. Okay, so let me show you. Here are some of the general services that all real estate agents offer. So they, you know, every real estate agent is going to put it on the MLS. They're going to put professional pictures. So I do all of these items. They'll have open houses, and I do more than that. And what I do, you know, and I have a presentation, and in my presentation, I basically go through like how we'll use the, you know, I give them strategies of things that they could do to net more money. And then I say, for the services that I'm offering you, the value, you know, you can pay someone 3.5%, but if they're not going to get you more money, then you're really making less. So that's, but it takes more than 4 minutes.
Well, I understand. Fair enough. However, again, I'll let you go on now. Again, let's see if you can ask some strategic questions.
Okay, so if I were to show you, if I were to show you how I can net you, I call myself a net dollar specialist. So sometimes you may be, I want you to walk away with the most money in your pocket. So if I can show you how I can achieve that goal through my strategies, would you be comfortable paying my 5% commission fee? My fee is 3%. That's what I charge for my services. It's investment in my services. And then 2% we pay out to the buyer's agent.
Okay, so they're doing it for 3.5 and you're charging me 5, correct?
Yeah, so let's look at let's say your house is $500,000, right? So let's see what that 1.5%, we're talking about $7,500. Based on the way that I negotiate for my clients, I can guarantee, I know I'm saying it all wrong. You made a face. Okay. I don't know. You tell me I'm here.
You guys, I want to question you. Be careful, because again, the natural thing that we get into the habit of doing is telling. How can you ask me a question? Because here's the thing, you guys. I love the fact that, you know, we saw it in Mindy, we see it in Yale, that, you know, that you believe in your value proposition. However, a couple different things. You didn't ask me if I wanted to net more money.
Okay, so let me ask you that. Would you
hang on. Why is that important? You're assuming it.
Got it.
So what's more? Ask the question.
Okay, so could you ask it and I'll just copy you?
Well, Carol just put it in the chat too, Denny.
What does it say?
You can save money or net more money, and you don't accomplish that in the same transaction. So which is most important to you, saving or netting more?
I love that question. So, all right. So, well, I want to, you know, I want to net the most money.
So you want to net the most money. So you're looking at it as, oh, I'm going to save 1.5% on the commission. But really what's more important to you, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you want to walk away with the most money in your pocket. Yeah.
Wasn't that what most sellers want to do?
That's what I do. So are you ready to go ahead?
Well, so I hear you. How are you going to get me more money than the other agent?
All right. So what I do is okay. So have you ever heard of the term highest and best?
Maybe, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it was in a movie.
No, it's a lot of agents use this term. They call highest and best. Now,
Okay.
I do that because I don't think that that's what's in the best interest of the seller. Basically, what we do is I'm supposed to be asking you questions, and instead of
Yes.
my listing presentation. So
Yes.
what other questions am I asking you? So I asked you, have you ever heard of highest and best? So you said, no. Is it a movie? And then I said, no, it's a term that agents use. However, I use something called multiple rounds of bidding. Are you familiar with the multiple rounds of bidding?
No.
So now would I go and explain what that is? Like
I
what-
would stick to the basics and say, are you looking to net more money or save money? And what do you really want to do?
Well, he said he wants to net more money, and now I need to convince him that I can actually net him more money versus save
Yeah.
it.
Well,
So you could ask bottom
One
line.
minute, somebody convince me that they can do it, because you guys are all biting around the same sandwich, but you're not getting to it.
You know what I would do if they want to net more money? I want to know why that's important to them. I always go back to the big why. I go back to their vision. I let them talk and talk and talk and tell me their story. And then I say, you know what? I understand what you need to do and what the assignment is. So do I have your permission to show you how I can get that done for you? And after I've listened to them tell their story, and I've asked tons of questions, when I say, do I have your permission to tell you how I can get this done for you? And they always say yes. And then I tell them, and then they sign it. I have a 98% conversion rate on listings, but I hardly talk at all. I just ask tons of questions and they tell me a story. So don't get so caught up in the words and how you say them. Listen, ask questions so they can talk. Why is it important for you to net more money? What will that mean for your family? How will that change your life? Because then you go back to those big whys and show, so by doing this, we can get you to this place. We can create that. That's the most important thing. And when the sales going haywire, let's get back to the big why. What can we do? And then I always say at the end, and so this is what I do. This is my A+ job. But let me say this, I have never let a commission stand in the way of getting a deal done. And by the time we're finished, you're going to know that I've earned every penny that you're going to pay me.
Time up. That's enough. Hang on.
You know, but just ask lots of questions.
That's a long story. Yes, of course. So that's exactly what we do here. Let me just kind of put a bow in this here, unless anybody else. Whitney, you want to land the plane? Can you land the plane?
I don't know. I could try.
All right, let's go.
Okay, cool. So I understand you're looking to net the most money. What is that number for you?
The most. I mean, what do you think I can get for the house?
Well, your home is, based on what we talked about $750. You currently owe $200,000. Essentially, that would put you at a net $500,000. Does that sound fair?
Okay, is that the most you can do?
No, but based on what's in front of me, those are just some market stats. When it comes to my commission, that is a whole other story. So, shit, I don't know. Basically, sorry, I always I forget we're live, but no, I think I could actually get you more. And what if I could make it so my services were almost irrelevant because I can net you more money on the open market with some strategies I have? Is that something you'd be interested in?
Well, okay, so a couple different things here, and then we'll go on to another type of scenario. Is that number one, when it comes from a listing standpoint, as you know, I don't give prices. I set expectations, not prices. And so then if you can really articulate how you're going to get somebody more money. Now, again, in the market we've been in this past year, it's been kind of easy because comps have been lagging behind, et cetera, making it a little bit more difficult moving forward. And as we heard in New York, the market's already started to shift there. So this is one of the ways I would do it. Number one, when you're dealing with a commission issue, make sure you quantify. So what I said was, hey, would you rearrange your commission? So Whitney, how when you say rearrange, are you suggesting then that if we agree on fee, that you're ready to move forward with me today? That's the model, right? I'm going to close. So if we agree on fee, are you ready to move forward with me?
Yes.
Okay, if it's no, then that's okay. However, it's like, then you're gonna be wasting a lot of words. And so when you say rearrange, what do you mean rearrange? Quantify that for me.
Basically, I want to sell my house for 3%. So rearrange depending on the results, I guess.
So you want to sell 3%, okay? Some of this is going to be repetitive, but I'm going to go very quickly. 3% total. This is one of the great questions. I forget. I think it was Mindy that asked this question, which is a good question. And well, 3% is that include the buyer's agent's fee as well?
Yes, it does. I heard that's a disservice.
What is it? Are you saying enroll when you say I heard it's a disservice?
Well, I know it's a disservice, but yes, I'm saying it as a client, like, oh yeah, I want to sell for 3%, but I heard that might not be a good idea.
Well, let me ask you, do you want to save money or make money? You can't do both. If you could only do one, do you want to save money or make money?
Make money, of course.
Okay, so then basically if we have a system that puts more money in your pocket, then the fee is irrelevant. Would you not agree?
Yeah, elaborate a little on that.
Well, just last month, we met with a seller that had two other agents before us, and they offered a discounted fee. And also they basically suggested an asking price for the seller that was too low for the marketplace. So they were going to save 2% on the fee, right? Yet they were $50,000 low on the asking price. And the reason we knew that because we specialize in the market and we don't only look at what's sold, we look at what's not available. And so Whitney, we were able to list that house for $50,000 more, and in 3 days it sold for full price. And so basically the seller had to pay $7,000 to us, yet netted, what would that be, $42,000 more. So can you see where they were attempting to save money, yet they made money by hiring us?
Yes.
So if you were to put more money in your pocket, is what we really charge, the 2% difference going to matter to you?
Nope.
Now, at some point in time, you might have to then have a conversation about that. That in a nutshell is that conversation. The other thing that Mindy did really well is she started to attack the negotiation strength of the other agent. When they start offering a lower fee, ask question number one, is that their model? Are they a discount broker? Or did they start out at a higher fee and they offered, then you were able to talk them down? That's the answer you want them to say. Because if they talk them down, that means, well, basically, if they're giving their money away, this is exactly what Mindy said. So the textbook, nice job. You're starting to attack. Now, I want to give you another layer, though. You guys know how many times, and I'm going to talk to, going back to Whit here as a seller, because most people don't know this. Do you want your agent to have great negotiating skills, Whitney?
100%.
That would be important, right?
Yes.
And that's really, I'm glad you said that. Do you know how many times that the agent has to step in to negotiate on your behalf?
Aside from going over offers, not really. Maybe on a request for repairs.
Well, actually, that's one of them. Sure, it's going to be obviously when the offer comes in or multiple offers. They have to be able to negotiate. And again, you'd want them to be a strong negotiator, right? Secondly, many times the appraisals are coming in lower, and that's when the buyer is going to attempt to take advantage of you, particularly if you have a weak agent, and renegotiate the transaction. And finally, the third time is when the inspection report is in, they're going to want to negotiate you fixing things you don't have to fix. Can you see how hiring an agent without negotiating skills could be very expensive for you? So that is another little chink in the armor. Now, if they happen to have a discount model, that's another conversation you can have. Anybody want to say anything else on this as we talk about fee? I know that, where's our first little person? Mindy, you're raising your hand. So Mindy, what would you like to have to say?
Well, the one line that I like to say is that I know what it will take to sell your home at 112% of the list price, where other agents only get 102% of list price. And you wouldn't want me to run the Boston Marathon with only one shoe. You would want me to run it with both shoes so I can successfully win the you, right?
Here's my pushback on that. Now,
Okay.
obviously, and I don't know her yet. She knows her numbers, which I respect. She's also, I've given her props because she's had a very good presentation on handling the objections. That will bite you.
Okay, tell me.
112%. Now, here's my reasoning on that.
Over promising, right?
Well, 100. The challenge with that is, do you know why? I'm going to ask this to anyone who'd like to answer. Do you know why she can sell it 112% over asking price? And the other people are doing 102%. No, the answer will surprise you. Why?
Well, are they assuming I'm listing low?
Yep, you are. You're listing low. And so I would smash you if I was the other agent coming in behind you on that.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying it can't work. However, whenever you're selling it above asking price, you are not superhuman. It is not your marketing prowess. You are underpricing the home. And if you want to underprice it by 100, if you want to sell it for 125% of asking price, just price it lower. So anyone want to chew on that just for a moment, because it's interesting that she uses that tack. It's smart. However, I just wonder if she'll agree that she's underpricing the home in order to get 112% of asking price.
Well, my prices are still ending up higher than what the market is selling them at.
Yeah, difficult to, I get that. Again, I'd love to have a conversation with you one-on-one and we'll talk about it more. Because because what happens if that does not, when you sell to 112%, it does not mean you haven't left money on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, just be careful. I totally respect you for what you've done, and you know your stuff. It's awesome. Just be careful with that. That is playing with a little C4.
Let me ask you, if I eliminated the numbers and we didn't talk that, and I mentioned about I know what I need to spend to market your home to yield the most amount of money. You wouldn't want me to run the Boston Marathon, that analogy, with only one shoe on. You would want me to have both shoes on so that I can win this race for you, right?
Well, two things here, if you don't mind me being very candid with you. This is
what I'm here for.
Haven't done 9 marathons. I don't attach myself to that analogy. Number two is you spending money has nothing to do with the home selling. Marketing doesn't sell houses. It's all pricing. So if you think because you're spending more money, you're getting the seller more money, you're not. Because once you have it exposed, it's already exposed. There's nothing else you can do to make it exposed more. So how does that land on you?
Well, I do a lot of pre-marketing, and I'm not necessarily spending money. I'm spending time, which equates to money. So all of my before it comes on the market, all of my outreach time that I'm spending, talking with other agents, promoting it in different venues.
It's and again, great. We'll have a great conversation about this. I'm a purist when it comes to that. It doesn't move the needle. It doesn't really. It's a great dog and pony. It doesn't move the needle. Like, for example, if you take out a full page glossy ad versus no ad, you just have a sign in the yard. Does that mean you're going to get more money because you had a glossy ad in the paper? No.
Well, if it attracts more buyers, and then that results in a bidding war, won't that drive the price up?
The bidding war, well, technically speaking, yeah, the bidding war happens because of the initial asking price. It doesn't happen because of the marketing, not in the market we're in. There's already buyers chasing it's kind of like you drive around, you got a sign runner, people are following the sign runner to find out what yard they put the sign in the yard, right? So I won't go too deep there. I'm happy to have that conversation with you about it because I'm a purist when it comes to price. It's not price and condition, it's not marketing. Although when you have a listing presentation, what she's talking about is exactly what you should be talking about. However, I just want to make sure you guys know that marketing does not sell houses. Pricing sells houses. Everything you do from a marketing standpoint is called branding. You should be doing that in order to get your brand out there, in order to have potential buyers and potential sellers, whatever. But there's no, if you spend $5,000 or you don't spend $5,000 on a well-priced listing, it does not move the needle in this market. And maybe in any market for that matter. So not to totally get sideways. And I say that with all total respect.
Quick question. At
Yep,
some
go.
point before this is over, there's a few people on this call that are dealing with clients that want to sell themselves and they're running against a wall on how to navigate that.
Got it. Well, I can handle that. And again, Mindy, you can pop in too. I said,
Oh, yeah. I was muted before. I wanted, just reviewing kind of the commission objection, basically, and asking the questions. I just want to make sure that I understand. So one of the things you said was if we, if we agree on commission, if we agree on commission, would you be ready to sign with me? Was that one, is that a good way to isolate?
Sure. Okay. So if we agree on fee, are we ready to move forward?
And then what was your, how would you, and what was the next question to kind of show them that, can you review how you would respond to the commission objection one more
Sure.
time?
I'm going to go right back really fast to the ones that sell themselves. It'd be like this. Okay. So we agree on fee. We're ready to do business. Yeah. Well, okay. So you said you wanted, a different fee. What fee did you have in mind?
So ask them what they had in mind. Okay.
Okay,
So you're
so
getting clarification and you're making them quantify their words.
right. And
Okay.
so let's say they have 5 and then I'm at 6. All right.
Right.
All right. So basically, are you saying that the 1% basically is what we have to figure out here?
Yeah.
Okay. So for example, to make it very simple, then because of the things that I do and all the special things that I do, just what,
Right.
Mindy,
Said. Yeah.
if I put 5% more in your pocket, would you be willing to give me 1% of that?
The only problem is you can never prove any of this. None of this is provable.
But you
never
can aim high.
Yeah,
No, I'm
you can't,
saying-
well, I just tell a story. I said, I have a story.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Okay.
No, the story is that we listed it for $50,000 more than the other agent said. Yes, so, you
So
can't,
basically say, if I can show you how I'm getting you 5% more than what? 5% more than what? A 5% higher price. Would you be
Yeah,
willing to pay me?
what
the
did the other agent say that they was listed for? Oh, they said 400. All right, so basically that if I could, like I said, the story is that we listed a house for 450 and the seller put $50,000 more in than the other agent said they could get.
But you can't prove that. So let's say
No, it happened. It happened.
No. Okay, no, what I'm saying is you're at this listing presentation. And you
Yeah.
say, if we can get you 5% more, how much did the other agent say you can get from the house? So the other agent said we can get, 400,000. And then you can't say, well, if I can get you 5% more than what, you can't say that. You can just only tell them a story about what you've
I did
done.
say it. I said, if you can get 5% more because of what we're doing, would you be willing to give me 1% of it? I'm not promising.
Right, but you also, what I always throw in is if I decide to work with you, Like if I decide to move forward, not like, because what if they're 400,000 and their house is only worth 215? You know what I'm saying? And they're saying, well, all the other agents that I could get, that's a different objection, but,
It is. Let
Okay.
me, we need to hang on that. I want to go back to the one that wants
For
to
sale by
sell
owner?
themselves. I'm happy to spend time with you after this. All right, so who raised that question? I'll show you how to handle that really fast.
The one I mentioned,
Yes.
Desi. I don't know if Desi's at her computer though. I would love for her to role play it with you. Desi, you out there?
Desi, ready? We gotta go quick.
She hopped off the screen.
Yeah, she's not in front of her camera.
All right,
Joe,
so-
do you want to say whatever you're hearing?
Oh, she's back. Oh,
Oh.
Desi. There she is.
Desi, you're up. Your objection is being put on the,
Go.
you can be the seller that is saying you can sell themselves and Denny will play it with you.
Okay, yes. Sorry, I have a newborn infant here that I'm raising. And it's
Okay,
challenging some mornings. Okay, anyways, hey, yeah, I'm really just gonna sell my house myself. I've done it before. I negotiated everything myself and the escrow company took care of all the paperwork. I really don't need a listing agent.
I understand that. I totally understand it. So other than that, in fact, you're gonna sell it yourself. Is there any other reason why you wouldn't hire me to take advantage of this white hot market?
We just really need the $50,000 because we're getting divorced.
And so you're gonna sell it yourself in order to save money?
Yes, that's exactly it. I've done it before. I know what I'm doing.
Okay, well, I get that. Anyone, it's in this marketplace, anyone can give their house away. How much money do you think you might be leaving on the table by doing it yourself?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to save the $50,000 on the 6% that some agents are trying to go for. I did talk to one local agent who is a 1% commission agent. If I have to, I'll go with them.
Well, here's the thing is, are you concerned about putting more money in your pocket or you just want to sell it yourself because it's going to be fun?
I wonder what the reality of that answer is. That's a great question. Okay, say that one more time for me, please.
Why are you going through all this mess? Like, you can sell your house yourself. Anyone can give it away. Like, for example, do you cut your own hair or do you go to a stylist?
Correct. I go to a stylist.
And you pay money for that. Why do you, when anyone can cut their own hair, why don't you cut your own hair?
Because I like the job that they do. God, that's so good.
It's for the results, right?
Yes.
So let me ask you, if I had a buyer, let's start, I'm not talking about listing right now. I'm talking about if I had a buyer that would be willing to pay you your number for your home right now, would you compensate my broker 3%?
Yes. Or we negotiated. Yes.
All right. So then basically, and according to the National Association of Realtors, most unassisted sellers like yourselves, the buyer will come from another agent. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
So then you will be paying 3%.
Yes. That's in reality. Yes. She won't answer that question, but yes.
Well, then what you're attempting to save in reality is not 6% or $50,000. It's $25,000, correct?
Correct. Good call.
So now I've taken a $50,000 down to a $25,000, right?
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Now you don't do real estate full time, right?
No.
Okay. So let me ask you, do you think the market's working in your favor as a seller?
Yes, because I know that I'm the only house in this community, this bougie community that's for sale.
I got that. So let me ask you, in the market we're in, that's moving ultra fast, is finding the right asking price sometimes challenging because the market is moving so quickly?
Well, I know what I want for my house.
I got it. However, what if you want is below what the market will pay?
That's a great question, Denny.
Is it possible that somebody who doesn't do this full-time for a living might, because that, hey, look, I know what I want, and that, is it possible that that seller could want maybe 1% less than the market could really give them? I'm being very conservative here, 1%, right?
Yeah.
And it could even be more, like 2 or 3 or 5% less, yes?
Yes.
And remember, you're only attempting to save 3%. So let's just assume that basically you underprice it by 1%. And so now you're doing all this work, carrying all the liability, and you're attempting to save 2%. Now, let me ask you, there's 3 points of negotiation. Now, when they basically, because if they don't know how to structure the offer, basically, and have you ever sold in a multiple offer scenario before? What's your strategy for handling multiple offers? How are you going to put them in a matrix to give you not the highest and best necessarily, but the one that has the highest probability of closing? And by the way, there's 3 points of negotiation. So when the appraisal comes in lower, is it possible that you as a seller or a seller may renegotiate by 1%? What I'm doing is I'm just taking it down one chunk at a time, 1% at a time. And by the way, what's your time worth? Here is, and it's right at the top of the hour, you guys. It's basically, we are free. Write this down. We are free to a seller. Mindy, you agree with that?
Thank you, Denny. That was a kick in the ass that I needed. I will see you the next time you're online for this class. That was awesome. Thank you.
For sale by owner, and I feel they're overpriced and I'm not in a rush to sell. Okay, well, I'm happy to handle that. So that's Muriel. So for sale by owner, they're not in they're overpriced, not in a rush to sell. Muriel, can you talk to me really quick?
Yes, yes,
All right, so you have something like that?
yes. And I actually didn't know what to answer. To begin with, I thought she was, so I asked her why she chose the price she chose.
Right.
Well, the house down the block sold for that price. Okay. Is it exactly the same? No, it's not. It also has a pool and it, whatever. It's,
we don't need all the details.
yeah. No, I'm saying, so I hear where she went with that number, but I felt,
Let me just do it because we don't have time.
okay.
So what are you going to do when you sell?
I'm moving, whatever. I already have another apartment.
Okay, so you've got this house and another place, right?
Yes.
And you're paying on this place, you're paying on the other place, right?
Yes, but I'm not in a rush to sell.
I got that. You're not in a rush. However, it does get expensive to pay two rents or 2 mortgages, right?
Right.
And so how long are you willing to wait? If the market is saying no to you now, how long are you willing to wait before you capitulate to the market?
Well, for sure till June, because I still have 2 teenagers that have to finish the school year.
Okay, and so when you then in June you're going to be willing to maybe lower the price to get more realistic.
Well, I'm kind of hoping it's gonna sell because the market is crazy and everyone's selling.
Okay, well, where have you heard that the market may be changing?
No.
How would you feel if your home was worth less in June?
I don't know. Probably terrible.
Well, you could sell it for, yeah, I mean, I just talked to an agent from New York and they're saying that basically, the home, whatever, I mean, the prices are going down. Do you think that could be a possibility? And what will that look like? Well, by the way, and why don't you add up your double mortgage payments between now and then, okay? And then is it kind of like you're burning money every day, right? Anyway, so you're going to have to help them understand that it's like, okay, what if the market does not come in June? What if the market retreats? And I'll close with this. I just watched the YouTube that a guy, he's in Washington State, Arlington, actually, Virginia. I'm sorry, not Washington, Washington, DC, that said, I'm not buying a house, and here's 10 reasons why I'm not buying. And so the market could be changing. So this is kind of a healthy discussion. I really enjoyed it. Mindy, you appreciate your hand is still up. I don't know if you just forgot to lower it or you maybe wanted to say something else. Does anyone have anything they want to add or close? This
Wow,
was
great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, actually, I would appreciate that follow-up call with you because I have a pricing conversation at 3 o'clock today for a listing that it's down to me and one other agent.
Can
All
you
right,
stay on
sure.
this so we can all hear it? If
Yeah,
whoever wants
If
to.
you want to stay, I can do it. Okay, so Sonny, thanks. You can keep the AOL or AOL. You can keep the Facebook going. All right, so let's do it really quick. If you want to stay on, great. We're going to cover this and then let's see if we can do it in 5 minutes. All right. So Mindy, set it up for us quickly and then let me see if I can attack it. Okay.
It's a townhouse that's another one in the complex sold for 380,000. That was only about 1,500 square feet. Theirs is 1,942 square feet. And I was thinking we would list it at, and then there's another one in a different community that recently sold for about 425. That is also around the 1,900 square feet that went on the market under 400,000. So my thought was that we would price it at the 399 because that would introduce more buyers since they go in $25,000 increments. And that if we put it in over 400,000, we're going to eliminate those who had the 400,000 max in their search criteria. And you're shaking your head because I wasn't sure if it was better to do it, say, at the 424 versus the 399.
So watch this. You're the seller, right?
Uh-huh.
This is how I'd handle it. I would say I don't set prices. I set expectations.
Right.
Mindy, what do you want for your townhouse? Yeah, what do you want?
To at least 425 to 450.
All right. So from an initial asking price, where would you like to start?
I don't know. I'm relying on your expertise.
Well, here's the thing: I can tell you what's happened in the history. I can tell you what Powerball numbers won last week. I cannot tell you which ones will win on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
So where would you like to? What Powerball numbers do you want to play?
Well, since I want at least 425, I thought that we should price it
Price it where?
at the 425.
All right. So if we were to list it at 425, are you prepared to move forward with me today?
I need to talk to the other agent to see what they're planning to price it at.
What difference does it make if you went 425? Where they're going to price it has no bearing on what you're going to get for the home. Where do you want to initially position it? Because you can't go up.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you price it, and again, if it's, if you sell it like right away, then you might have left money on the table, right?
Yeah,
So are you saying if the other agent's going to list it at 426, you're going to go with the other agent?
I don't know. Think about it.
Is this a bidding war?
Well, I just want to make the most amount of money.
Okay. So how will you do that? We are looking at the same past data. Is that true?
Well, she thought that the property was smaller, so she was actually giving me prices that were lower.
Okay. And so if you can sell it for 425,
Uh-huh.
do you win at that?
Sure.
And if I'm your agent and we are able to get that or close to that, you win, then I win, right?
Right.
Well, you can't win by starting out lower. So let me ask you, if we were to list it at 425 today, are you ready to move forward with me?
Well, I'm a high C, so I still want to think about it.
Okay, and what would you want to think about?
If that's the price that we should put it at.
Okay. Then if you want to think about where we should position it.
Uh-huh.
Here's the listing agreement. Let's just authorize the agreement. I'll leave the price blank. You think about it and you put in the number. It's going to start with I'll pick the first number 4. You pick the second number.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're not getting this. You're not getting it. No, she's hesitating. Why? I mean, what am I modeling, you guys? First of all, is that you are attempting to tell her what it's going to sell for. And I can just tell you, based on my 40 years experience, and certainly in the market we've had the last 12 to 18 months,
Mhm.
you can be off. You're already saying you're going to sell it for like 17% or whatever, you get 12% above asking price. And the 400 and the 4, I used to use that a long time ago. That's out the window right now. Give the seller the benefit of the doubt. Now, again, let's just assume you say, yes, we listed at 425. You're the man. Awesome. Knuckle bump. I've got the listing. Now I'm going to have a conversation. The conversation is going to go like this. What are you going to do if the market says no?
Okay, I'm not sure what you mean. What does that mean?
Well, there's only 3 outcomes. I don't know what Mindy, there's only 3 outcomes. Low to no showings, low to no showings, showings and no offers, or it sells. I've got the form right here. This is the form you should have because there's only 3 outcomes. This tells you what you should be doing. I think I have it here. Here it is. It's right there. There's the outcomes, 3 outcomes form right there.
Okay, I'm on a.
You email me at Denny. Denny delivers training at Gmail. I'll send you the PDF for that.
Okay.
There's only 3 outcomes when you list a home. Low to no showings it means basically the hook is here and the fish are here. This is showings and no offers. Number 3, it sells. So basically, if the market says no, are you willing to reposition? I have never said it will sell at 425. I will never tell them what it's going to sell for. So you are attempting to tell them what it's going to sell for, and somebody else is going there and give them a higher number, and they're going to get the listing.
Right.
So why would you do that?
Well, so my concern is that this other agent may come in and give them a higher number, or maybe she already did.
Well, I mean, you're asking them what they want. Well, so the other agent, would the other agent tell them, say that they would list your home at?
So I should just ask that right out front?
Yeah, just role play with it. I'll tell you exactly how to handle it. What the other agent say they listed at?
At 4:30.
Okay, awesome. So that's what they said they should list it at. What did they show you to substantiate that?
Just based on the square feet. She adjusted based on the extra almost 500 square feet or 300 square feet, whatever.
Okay, so all right. So now, do you think that's valid?
I don't know. This isn't my business. That's why I'm relying on you guys.
Well, no, I'm asking you, do you think that's valid, her adjustment of the square footage? I'm just asking you as an agent. Because here's the issue. If the agents can show them anything or tell them anything, well, yeah, I'll list it for 330 or 430. What are they showing you as selling? Because you're looking at the same data. Now, if they're looking at the data and they're being based on square footage, I think we get 430. Then I'd say, well, I don't know what the Powerball is going to be on Saturday. What do you want for the home? What do you think it's going to bring? I said, I don't know. I mean, I'm shocked every time I list a home. I just know basically, I'll tell you what, I'll pick a number, you pick a number. I'll pick a 4. What do you want? What do you want as the next number? I'm not going to get into a bidding war on a listing price.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, and that's like 6 minutes, and I'm not sure you fully understand it or you're comfortable with it. However, it's something that we can work on, and I don't know, anybody have any follow-up question on that? Or if it's not making sense to you, say something. Whitney?
I had to step away for a second, and I'm sorry I did, because I really wish I learned from that one.
You're the one who asked me to do it.
No, Mindy did, right?
Yeah, but they said, oh, let's do it while we're all together. So, all right. Because we were going to have a private call. So, all right. Anybody have any follow-up on that? I mean, it's like.
Well, you're saying take the listing, right? And don't overprice it. Don't guarantee the price. And what's your nugget to her right now going to an appointment to handle that? What's like a one line, this is what you should do?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is like to say, where, you know, are you ready to move forward? Where do you want the initial asking price to be? Because.
Do you know what I think is a good idea? Based on the conversation I did catch, when they said, oh, I just need to talk to this other agent, blah, blah, blah. My one line that I've used a million times, and I think it works, is what do you think another agent would do that I'm not going to do for you? And then they're like, oh, good point. But
here is the thing, when I get into this, I'll explain this to you guys in depth, if you can see that. The interesting thing is top market value cannot be determined on a CMA. It cannot be determined to expose it on the market. Do you agree with that, Mindy?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you don't know, and this is my conversation with the seller, if you don't know if this is top dollar and you don't know where it is, we either get aggressive, we go high, in which we can come down, or we sell, or pick point B, we sell it and leave money on the table. Where do you want to start? Most sellers will say, well, I don't mind starting more aggressive. Awesome. Where would you like to begin? It's the initial asking price. Well, what do you think? Well, I can say the comps all here basically are up to about 400,000. However, in this market, it's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Where would you like to begin? Well, do you think we get 425? Well, if we're going to start at 425, are you ready to move forward with me today? I mean, take the listing. Your fingerprints aren't on that number. Then I say, I got that. What do you do if the market says no? Then one of 3 things will happen. And so it's just, it's really bulletproof when you understand it. So send me that email. I'll send you the efficient sheet if you want it. Denny delivers.
Yeah, I'm on a phone, so, and I don't have paper. I'm sitting in a community garden out in a park. If somebody could just type it in the chat so I can screenshot it, that would be great.
Somebody could, Denny delivers training at Gmail.
hey, Denny, so you take the listing at 425, whatever, but you also plant the seed. So, hey, if the market doesn't react to this number, what's your plan? Or would you say, hey, let's connect in a week or two, and if the market doesn't react, then we may need to have a conversation with adjusting the price?
Hang on a minute, G. Well, I just say, what are you gonna do if the market says no? Denny delivers training as you know.
No,
Yeah.
like, hey, yeah, you want to list at 425? Okay, great, let's do it. Boom, sign the listing, whatever. Okay, so typically in the first week, we can see how the market reacts.
Well,
Let's have a discussion in a week if we don't get the showings we're looking for.
you can. It's not always that though, Whit, because the price range, you know, if you're in $1 million price range, it's different than if you're in a $400,000 price range. So there's going to be 3 outcomes. And so if we have outcome number 1 after a week, it probably means the beta's here and the fish are down here. So we're going to maybe have to talk about repositioning. Are you okay with that? Well, I'm not in a hurry. Well, I got that. Well, you can drive the boat as fast as you want to drive it. So it's totally up to you. So that's the conversation I'd have.
You're the bomb. Thank you.
All right, guys. Awesome. Have a good week.
Thank you,
Go get
Denny.
'em. Mindy, go get them. I put my email in there.
Yeah, I took a screenshot of it. Thank you so much. This has been great. Thank you.